Thank you, both of you, Molly and Joanna. Well, this is the fifth session on the opening sentence, which is, as the heart pants after the brook, so does my soul long for you, O God. For the fifth time, we are going to look at this, right? Now, let's sort of begin with some familiar experiences. You think of a bride. I'm sure you have seen brides and even bridegrooms. You have? A bride wants to be in the best possible attire, spirit, disposition, and appearance. Sure? Have you ever seen a bride going to the wedding ceremony ill-clad, wearing her worst clothes, looking glum? No. You know, there is a poem by Coleridge, Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and the mariner describes a bride, and he says, red as a rose was she. Red as a rose was she. Now, why does the bride almost become a symbol? It's because the bride brings the fullness of her being into the experience of getting married. There is a story of a young girl, a lady who was going to get married. So she went to the textile shop and told the salesperson there, give me the stuff that makes maximum rustling, the noise. So he looked around and got her something, and then he said, Madam, if you don't mind, may I ask, why do you want cloth that rustles most? So the lady said, look, obviously this is going to be my wedding dress, my bridal vestments. The man I'm going to marry is blind. So, as I walk down the aisle of the church, I want him to know that I am coming. He can't see, he can only hear. So, my clothes must tell him that I'm coming. Now, there is something beautiful about it. Suppose she had gone into it in a very casual manner. This idea would not have occurred to her, and we would never have talked about her. Who are the people who are remembered in history? People who brought everything that they could muster and galvanize onto doing whatever they did. And they are the people that humanity cannot afford to forget. You think of a musician doing a rendering of a raga or whatever. If you've actually watched the performance of a great genius, a maestro, you would have seen for yourself how slowly he moves into the intensity and fullness of the raga and tries to explore every possible range of that particular raga. And in the process, his face becomes incandescent. I used to be very, very fond of music, I still am. And when I was a young man, I never missed a classical music concert in the city. I used to go and attend the recitals, especially by Pandit Ravi Shankar and Vilayat Khan. And especially with Pandit Ravi Shankar, I have noticed this, that halfway into a raga, he is not human. He is much more than that. Off the stage, he looks very ordinary. But when he is performing, he's almost like a demigod. You would also see this with respect to all great artists. Now, when a vocalist, for example, sings, he's not just singing with his vocal cords and his tongue and lips. He's singing from the depth of his being. He's actually trying to unveil the full splendor of the artist, through whom alone the greatness of the art can find expression. All these are manifestations of the enthusiasm I'm talking about. When I talk to you or talk with you, if my heart does not experience the same craving that the psalmist experienced as the heart pants after the brook, if my heart does not experience the same craving, the thirst to give you the very best, then I would be doing a disservice to you. And I would, more than that, doing a disservice to myself. I'll be inflicting myself on you. There is a lot of cynicism about the assembly spread by people who have no understanding, saying that assembly is only for school children and it's a boring experience. You get nothing out of it. Well, assembly can be that, I don't dispute it. But the assembly in St. Stephen's College is not that. And if that be the case, you must know the logic of it. The logic is, in St. Stephen's College, we pursue excellence through everything that we do. And that goes for assembly as well. I dare say, there is no assembly like this in any other college in this entire country, where there are 36,000 colleges. I dare say that. And I don't think anyone will dispute it. As on today, it's not merely the first year junior members of St. Stephen's College who are attending the assembly. Thousands of people all over the country are attending the assembly because the assembly is posted on the YouTube. So when you come and make your presentation here, the nation watches you. And people beyond our country are watching this, because I get a lot of feedback. Now, that being the case, each one of us has a duty, insofar as we respect the spirit and tradition of the college, to be passionate about what we are required to do. First of all, our studies. How can you, if you are a Stephanian, sit in a classroom looking indifferent or bored? It is simply not possible. How can a teacher, a faculty member, being a part of this wonderful, vibrant family, ever go into a classroom without excitement about what he or she is going to impart? How can you organize any program in college without ensuring that that's going to be the best we are capable of? St. Stephen's College has become what it has over the years precisely because this very attitude of worship has been translated into every detail of college life. This is something that's being forgotten, and there's a reason why I have to restate it, emphasize it from time to time. And I commend this to you. Please understand that there is a logic to the greatness of St. Stephen's College, the uniqueness of his spirit and ethos, and right at the heart of everything, the very heartbeat of all of this, is a kind of enthusiasm and passion that people before us, teachers and students alike, contributed to the total saga of the college. And therefore, we in our times have to become good custodians of this great treasure that's been handed down to us. Now, let me take the image I introduced at the beginning a little forward. When the bride does everything possible to present herself in the best possible attire and appearance, she's making a statement. The statement is that I bring the best of who I am and what I have into the banquet of our relationship. That's what she's saying. And the man likewise responds. Now, this is extremely important for us because one of the fundamental needs, it's not a luxury, one of the fundamental needs that a human being as against an animal has is the need to experience from time to time the range and scope, the scale and size of one's possibilities. I said to you 3 days ago that much of human life is lived on routine, and routine is the kind of uneventful flow of life, important as it is. But no amount of routine can actually meet all of our needs. They meet our practical needs, day-to-day needs. But we have needs way beyond the practical and down to earth, the mundane. We have a need to experience our uniqueness, need to experience our greatness. We have a need to express both. And it is because of this that humankind has invented all kinds of mediums through which to experience and express this greatness. Sports is one. Faster, longer, higher. Now, when an athlete participates in an event, he does not participate in a half-hearted manner. He is a fire. He is a moving ball of fire of enthusiasm. When a great player plays, there's not a touch of indifference about it. Every stroke is an expression of fullness. When a great artist performs, as I said a short while ago, when a great orator speaks, when you write your examinations, as you go into the examination room, there should be a spring in your step. Because you're going to sit there and do your best. You forget the whole world. And at the end of it, you experience ecstasy. It's a human need. Do not ever think of examinations as torture. Think of examinations as an experience of ecstasy. That is the truth. So, being who we are, because of the greatness of our creation, which is unlimited, there's a deep craving in the heart of every human being to have occasions from time to time at least to experience the greatness that is dormant, that is sleeping within us. And only those who intuit this reality and respect it will achieve something. The others will live with a tormenting sense of self-revulsion and continually denigrate oneself and say, well, I'm a humble person. That's not humility at all. It's a mockery of humility. Every human being has a duty, I would say a sacred duty, to explore and celebrate whatever is great, whatever is noble, whatever is beautiful within us. And there is not a single human being who does not have this great treasure, this hidden treasure. You may discover it, you may not discover it, that's your choice. You may value it, you may denigrate it, that's your choice. But every human being has it. So, it is not merely a matter of being passionate about God. Passion and excitement, zeal and enthusiasm are valid not only in the context of one's religion. These are strengths and qualities that must necessarily punctuate, characterize, define every human being in every context. Otherwise, you're not human. You're a caricature of being human. I cannot give you a greater secret of success than this. The difference between a mediocre student and an excellent student is the extent to which this second category of students sustains one's enthusiasm over a period of time. Does your enthusiasm grow or diminish? Are you happier now than you were when you began your tryst with St. Stephen's College? If you are not, then there is something seriously wrong with your attitude to college, with your discipline of study, and with your commitment to developing yourself. Now, at this point, I will take leave of the emphasis on passion, enthusiasm, etc. And I'll move to the second part of the verse, which is, for you, my God. Okay? So we're going to talk about God, or think about God, or wonder about God, or blunder about God for some time. Ready? How many of you have done any thinking on God? You have. See. Now, it shows, I'm glad that you're honest, it shows that, we are really sort of sailing through life. We have to spend time reflecting on the bedrock realities of life. There's a Latin poet who says, God in whom we live and move and have our being. Can you remember that? God in whom we live and move and have our being. And this is quoted by St. Paul in one of his speeches, which is found in a book called the Book of Acts of the Apostles in the Bible. Anyway, so various philosophers have cudgelled their brains on this most enigmatic question. Who is God? First of all, is there a God at all? So you have Hegel writing a 2-volume book called Proof for the Existence of God. Lectures on the Philosophy of Religion and Proof for the Existence of God. Much of it is philosophy of religion, and towards the end, he deals with the question of the existence of God. We have a whole tradition of atheism, which struggles to prove that God doesn't exist. And then you have a philosopher like Kant who says, even if God doesn't exist, we'll have to invent God. So, what exactly is this reality that we are talking about? And don't expect me to solve a riddle which no one else has. I'm a very simple, ordinary human being. I don't claim to have any great wisdom. But I try to think, I try to seek, I try to work out a few things for myself. And if some of those things that I have deciphered prove to be of some value to you, that's good. All right? So I want you to now, I'm not going to start that subject now for want of time. I want you to think about it. Tomorrow, if anyone wants to say something about my idea of God before I speak, you're most welcome. Please get in touch with Dr. Renisha Abraham. And it's good for us to share our insights, right? You don't feel inhibited or embarrassed to say what you want to say, right? Only when you have done some thinking does your mind get formatted and therefore get ready to register what I may have to say, right? Do not ever become passive in intellectual contexts. We have to meet halfway. You have to rise and meet, right? So we'll begin that part of our discussion tomorrow. Let's rise for prayer.